Hello, it's your girl E, your favorite purple-haired girly, and we're back with season 4. Season 4 of The Walking Dead, and I feel like this is when the series starts to catapult into getting darker and darker. Seasons 1 through 3, well, of course, with the governor as well, right? But I feel like it still wasn't as dark as it continues to get, because low-key, I'm on season 7 right now. That's how much once the tone starts to change into season 4, it was over for me. I couldn't even do videos because I'm glued, sucked in to the series. So the governor comes back for round 2 in this season. We think that he might have changed, he would just go on to move on with life, but no, of course, ego. My boy wanted revenge, so he goes and manipulates and gaslights and takes over another group of people and put them in danger just so he can settle his beef with Rick and the gang and Michonne. So back at the prison, essentially everyone and the people from Woodbury who joined Rick's group, they are all, everyone's living in harmony and peace, trying to grow a community, and that's where the governor's hating ass comes back. But while the governor is building that up behind the scenes, there's a flu outbreak in the prison. So, people are dying, people are turning zombies, while they sleep. That's unsafe for everyone. This is when Carol, everything starts to, I feel really catapult in season 4. Carol's character on what needs to be done has to be done, right? By killing were they kids? I believe that they were 2 kids that were sick. She had to take them out because it's either, they're gonna get us all sick and we're all gonna die, or we take care of them. And that's what she did. And Rick, of course, banned her from the group. Yeah, he banned her for the group for her actions. She also did it dully without asking, but because Rick wouldn't have went for it. She knew it, so why ask, right? Ask for permission later was kind of what she was going with in this dynamic. But what were you gonna do? I don't know what were the other options here. I guess, I don't know, what, isolate them? DK the same way, with the pandemic. Do you isolate them and see what happens? Kill them later? I don't know. Sis wasn't taking no chances. And ever since then, like I said, at the prison, she really starts to escalate, and she wasn't really taking any chances as we continue on with the series. And as I mentioned, the governor meets another group of people. He takes over, manipulates them, start them off with his second face-off with Rick and the gang. And the saddest part of that whole thing is that your boy Herschel died. I was really upset. I felt like Herschel dying also hardened up the rest of the group. He was very much so the, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's not the word, the angel on your shoulder. He was the conscience, I feel of the people, to make sure that they, all just didn't turn savage, which in this world, I guess you low-key have to become savage, and they start to escalate that as they encounter other groups and people. Herschel dying, I definitely dropped a little tear, because the way Maggie cried once the governor took that sword to his neck. And I also love that Michonne was the one to take him out, because he absolutely deserved it. He was coming for her. All of this drama was just because of your beef with Michonne. Again, there's so much going on in the world that it's not important. Causing other people to die for your battles and fights, definitely not worth it. But who's gonna tell the governor that, right? Everyone splits up. They had a plan to escape. It didn't work. Everyone is now split up into different groups. And Michonne, Rick, and Carl, they end up together. It was just Carl and Rick at some point, and Michonne meets up with them. Then they're all together. You have Daryl and Beth. I think that when the group splits up, I don't really enjoy it. It kind of in the middle of the season, I felt like it really slowed down as the group were separated, and as they all are going towards Terminus. That's where it really starts to escalate. They're all going towards Terminus and, you know, end up finding each other. Carol and Tyrese were together with the little girls, Lizzie, Mika, and baby Judith. Fucking Rick and Carl thought Judith was a goner. The way that they left that bloody car seat, yeah, I would have thought that she was dead too. Carl also expressed more tears for baby Judith than I feel like he did for his mama that he had to take out, but that's none of my business. None of my business. that young man definitely needed therapy. Everybody needed therapy with going through what they're going through. Carol and Tyrese, and with the little girls, Mika and Lizzie, I don't remember who's who. But like that whole thing, I loved how they saved Tyrese, right? Because Carol was training them to defend themselves. So I really enjoyed that. And then little sis gets a little crazy. Like, she couldn't handle it. She thought that, you know, I don't know what, looked at them kind of like the walkers as like pets. Nah, she killed her sister just to try and prove a point. No, she had to go. And Carol was the one that did it. Look at the flowers, told her to look at the flowers to keep her calm, and then took that ass out. And that's also where I think that Carol starts to... The first two kids, I feel like I did what I had to do. Same thing in this situation, but she didn't really want to talk about it anymore. And she starts to like really like internally like get darker as it progresses. Like it just starts to get to you. The killing of like the living feels different than killing like the dead. It's like that's more of like a survival thing, and like killing the living just because they can't live this life, they're not meant for it. Yeah, that's really started to weigh, I feel like, on all parties as we continue the series. We also get to meet Abraham, Eugene, and Rosita on their like little mission to Washington, which I feel like the government's never really about that life to help in any situation, but whatever, that's not what this is about. They are headed there. It was definitely a slow build on their journey to Terminus. I really didn't like the separate dynamics of the season, but once we get to Terminus, it definitely turns up. I just got a buyer call in the middle of this video. Had to take that call. Where was I? Slow build to Terminus. That's where everything really starts to escalate for me. And where it really escalated was Carol and taking out one of those little girls. Look at the flowers. Definitely turned up the series. Just the darkness for her, getting all savage. And then Rick's savagery when that group, the Claimers, where they tried to R-word Carl, and they were going to do the same to Michonne. And as the dude had Carl's face like pitted to the floor, you heard the belt buckle like coming off, and I was like, I low-key forgot that part. And Rick turns up and he bit the shit out of that dude's neck, and I was totally here for it. Because what are you gonna do? Like, it totally escalated, and he was gonna like watch his son like happen to his son, because that's exactly what to say. You're gonna watch your son, then you're gonna watch this girl, and then I'm gonna kill you. That is crazy. Rick wasn't having it, and he bit the jugular out, and I was here for it. It just, like I said, it progressively gets darker as we continue their journey into this world of The Walking Dead. And when they get to Terminus, like I told y'all already, that's why I haven't dropped any videos, because I've been hooked. Once they get to, I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning because I needed to see what happens when they got to Terminus. Everyone got thrown in the bin, not the bin. Everyone got thrown into the, what is it called? The shipping containers. They get thrown into the shipping containers, and I knew that it gets a little crazy. I couldn't remember because it's been a while since this has been on air, and I can't go into that. It's season 5. I can't go into that. Season 5. Stay tuned for my thoughts on season 5 and them getting to Terminus. But that was crazy, and it just continues to get darker and darker. So I love how like it really starts to get into now like in survival mode. Everyone has to learn how to survive, kill, at first I felt like it was encountering walkers, killing walkers, and then fending for ourselves if we meet other people. But now we're meeting other groups of people, collectives of people, these smaller communities, societies that they're building, creating. And not everyone is so nice. Not everyone wants to collaborate. Some people just want to take your shit and call it a day. Steal from you, take from you, looting essentially. And now it's like, what lines are we willing to cross? Because yeah, I'm down to like take out a walker to survive, but now I have to take out the living. That's where it gets crazy, because some of these living people are insane, worse than the walkers. And you also can't really cope with anything that's going on, because you have to continuously make moves and also, you know, survive. You're just straight up in survival mode always when you're looking at the situation. But season 4, again, a little bit of a slow walk, because it was like Governor Part 2, and then it was everyone was separated and they had their own like little storylines. I wasn't here for it. Once the gang got all together in Terminus, I was definitely locked in. But going into season 5, I was super locked in that I am on season 7 right now. Super locked in. I love that, like I said, the stakes really got higher once we got into season 5. So low-key, this series was like a little slow build. I loved it all, but it just really starts to escalate with tension and things like that with people. Because my favorite season is where I'm at now with Negan. He played no fucking games. But what was your thought on season 4? What was your part? What was your favorite part of season 4? Like, mine's are both savagery. It's Carol and the looking at the flowers, and it was Rick biting that man's neck off. I was totally here for it. Tell me what your favorite parts were in the comments, and come back for my thoughts on season 5.